Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hey y'all, how you doing? It's your girl Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic, and I am back with another episode. Let me fix this lighting. I'm having issues lately, y'all. I don't know what is going on. It's either too bright, not light enough. I'm like, what is happening? Anywho, if this is your first time joining me, thank you. Welcome. So glad that you had an opportunity to stop by. I'm Carla Renata, your host, and what I do here is I do movie reviews and I talk to talent above and below the line in the film industry. And then I also tell you a little bit about how my week went the week before. And I also tell you what I'm going to talk about. But my girlfriend, Angelique Jackson's pictured right there, took me to this place that used to be called the Pendry, and we had a nice little dinner there. There's like a little nice picture of my little crispy, spicy tuna rice and our cocktails. But she took me there for a post-birthday celebration, which also served as a listening party, an FYC listening party for Tiana Taylor's new album, and her daughter got up and sang and did a poem. It was a really nice, intimate evening, and I really enjoyed it. It's the Pendry is now called something else, but they have a room there called the Sunrose Room, and it's primarily used to do FYC events and be a showcase for artists, particularly musicians and singers. So if you are in Los Angeles and you have an opportunity to stop by the Sunrose, please do yourselves a favor and get on over there. I went back over to Fox 11 LA, sporting my new hairdo and my color, and did a piece where I talked about the new Springsteen movie and some things happening in Los Angeles as I normally do. And then I also let this news drop. So everyone in this picture, including yourself, your girl at the bottom right, is in a Christmas movie that is coming on OWN called Christmas Showdown. It stars Amber, who is above me, Miss Loretta Devine, who's in the middle, Oba Babatunde, who's in the middle on the bottom, and Amber Stevens West, who's on the top to the right. We're in a movie together called Holiday Showdown. We had so much fun. We shot it over the summer, and it hits the OWN channel next month. So if you're into Christmas movies and you love that kind of thing, check it out and see your girl in action. Don't look like the way y'all see me looking. I'm playing somebody's mama. So just be forewarned, I'm playing somebody's mama. All right. What else did I do? Yeah. Oh, and then I moderated this panel. So Ballad of a Small Player came out. It's a new film with Colin Farrell. We'll be talking about that today. And I have an interview with Colin Farrell and Edward Berger and Fala Chin from the film. But Colin in this picture actually moderated himself. He moderated himself for about a good 25 minutes, bless his little heart. And then I moderated this panel with the composer Volker, who's to your far right, the director, Oscar-winning director Edward Berger, who's to your far left, and Fala Chin in the middle, who played Dao Ming in the film. And then I also did this. So Apple TV did a huge junket today. I did 4 different shows of talent. One of the shows I did is this TV series called Your Friends and Neighbors. It stars John Hamm, who's in the middle there, Olivia Munn, and I always forget her name, and I love her dearly. Let me just grab her name for y'all real quick before I forget, because I'm like, how can I forget her name? It's just Amanda Peet. Amanda Peet is to the far right. Olivia Munn and John Hamm star in the Apple TV series called Your Friends and Neighbors. It is a wild ride. Each episode is like a brand new movie, but I will have interviews from them. I also did the cast of The Morning Show featuring Jennifer Aniston and Billy Crudup. I talked to them, and I also talked to my girl Karen Pittman from The Morning Show. And then I spoke to Ike Barinholtz. I'm looking for his picture because I can't find it. I'll show it later. But I spoke to Ike Barinholtz from the studio, and then I spoke to these lovely ladies from Palm Royale. I spoke to Amber Sade Robinson. I spoke to Kaya Gerber, Mindy Cohn, Leslie Bibb, Josh Lucas. Oh, here's the picture of Ike Barinholtz. There's Ike Barinholtz from the studio. And Kristen Wiig. And I spoke to Laura Dern and Ricky Martin. I did all of that today before I came to y'all. I am booty tired, but I am here. I also wanted to tell you about, we're going to get into If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I talked about that last week. But I want to get into it a little further today. And the AFI Fest is kicking off this week, so I'll talk a little bit about that before I hop off. The AFI Fest is done every year in the fall in Los Angeles. This year, the dates are October 22nd through October 26th. A lot of the films I've already spoken about on this podcast will be featured there, and I'll get into that into a little more detail later. But right now, let's get into a little If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So this film is directed by Mary Bronstein and is written by her as well and produced by Josh Safdie from the Safdie brothers. And Rose Byrne is a woman who her life is crashing down around her, and she's trying to navigate this mysterious illness that her daughter has. Her husband's not around. There's a missing person happening, and there's an increasingly hostile relationship with her therapist that's played by Conan O'Brien. I believe I did talk about this before, but I want to get into it in a little bit more detail because I want y'all to see this movie. It is done from a point of view aspect. So the same way that there was a film last award season was done like that. This film is done from a point of view. And what that means is that you only see the person that is speaking on camera. You don't see the other people that are in the scene. You only see the person that is speaking on camera. And I kind of love that because it forces you to pay attention to the film. This woman is an emotional eater that Rose Byrne is playing. She left, and one of the scenes that was really, let me come back on camera so y'all can see me. One of the scenes that was really crazy is Rose Byrne plays a therapist. So she has a hostile relationship with her therapist and she plays a therapist. So that gives you a little insight into what these people that you're going to dump your problems on, what they have to deal with. She has a patient named Caroline, and Caroline literally is suffering from not only PTSD, but some other stuff that mothers go through after they postpartum PTSD. And she literally leaves her baby with the therapist. It was crazy. There's a whole monologue that Conan O'Brien does because he plays Rose's therapist. And this is literally a cinematic chronicling of a woman who's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. There's this one moment with a hamster. Baby, the hamster showed his teeth. I was like, I would never in my life buy somebody a hamster as a pet. I was like, yep, nope, not today. Her daughter has this disease and they have these tubes and things on her. She has to be fed with a feeding tube. And the thing with her daughter is that her daughter is not eating. So they feed her through this feeding tube to help her gain weight. They seem to believe that she probably has some type of eating disorder that has been fostered and manipulated by her mother, played by Rose Byrne. Y'all, it's a deep movie. It's a really deep dive into a film, and you only see her daughter at the end. Like I said, everything is point of view. ASAP Rocky is in this film. He's kind of hilarious. But there's this moment where the hamster gets hit by a car and it's kind of devastating. I don't like hamsters. I don't like anything that looks like a rodent personally. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I'll do a written version of this and it'll make a lot more sense when I write and talk about it, but it's a lot going on. A lot. Let's talk about this Bruce Springsteen movie, Deliver Me From Nowhere. So I'm just going to put this up so I can read it and tell you what went down. So when I can't remember if I was at Telluride or if I was at TIFF, the filmmaker was there, and his first film it was crazy because he was very overwhelmed at the fact that people came to see this film at like 10 o'clock in the, it was Telluride. Came to see this film at 10 o'clock in the morning in Telluride. And it was a packed house. There wasn't an empty seat anywhere. His name is Scott Cooper. And he shared with the audience that this particular film proved to be very challenging for him. His first film was Crazy Heart, ironically enough, with Colin Farrell and Jeff Bridges. And it's interesting that this is a father-son story. It's more than just Bruce Springsteen's journey into writing the album Nebraska, which led us to Born in the USA and so many other hits. But Bruce Springsteen's dad had dementia, and before he had dementia, he was a fairly violent person, and he abused him mentally and physically, and his mom. And so the fact that Scott was dealing with this film, knowing that he had to go there, the day he started to shoot, his father passed away. And so he made this his gift to his father. And then right after that, he had a daughter that was born. And so he has these kids, he's got this dad, and he also, so his father passed away and he lost his house in the California wildfires. So this is a filmmaker who's trying to make art and has all these obstacles and challenges. But what happened was Bruce Springsteen is such a kind person that he literally gifted Scott's daughter one of his guitars from the Born in the USA tour, because she likes to play the guitar, because they lost everything. And when I tell you, baby, there wasn't a dry eye in the house when he shared that. The movie starts out in 1957 in Freehold, New Jersey, where the boss is from, and it does follow this journey. What it really does more than anything else is it gives you an insight into how an album is made. It tells you the story of an artist. This is why I say this all the time. You never know what somebody is struggling with or what you catch them dealing with on any given day, any given hour, any given minute. Bruce Springsteen suffered grossly from depression. So knowing the way he grew up, and then he's a musician and he's suffering with depression, which ultimately was stifling his creativity. The fact that he got an album out during this time at all is a miracle within itself. But it's also, you get massive insight into his creative process, how he records, how he comes up with his songs. And with this particular album, what's fascinating is he was very adamant about not releasing one single, not touring, and not doing any press. Imagine now, in this day of digital media and social media, somebody talking about, I'm not going to do a tour, I'm not doing no press, and we're not going to release no singles. Yeah. Think about that for a second. But what I will tell you about this film is that Jeremy Allen White, who's playing Bruce Springsteen, he did the daggone thing. And the girl that plays Faye, his girlfriend, she is absolutely fantastic. So it's called Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. You really want to check it out, along with If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. All right, so let's get into this ballad of a small player. I saw this at Telluride. I'm one of the few people that loved it. I believe I talked about it last week in detail, but right now I'm going to give you these interviews that I did with Colin Farrell, Edward Berger, and Fala Chen, and it gets deep, y'all. We get deep into it, and I don't want to waste another moment talking about it. I just want you to hear what they have to say. Here we go. Carla Renata, the Curvy Film Critic. Hello, Edward.
Hi there. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, listen, I told you, I'm a fan. I'm really, really a fan of your work.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
I want to talk to you about this one shot that ever since I've seen it, I'm obsessed with it. It's in the beginning of the film. It's in the food service tray, where it's like this mirrored reflection of Doyle in there as soon as he wakes up, as the chaos is beginning. What made you decide to start the film off with that particular shot? It's fascinating.
Well, it's just, I wanted to, the beautiful thing about that shot, that the fountains kind of mirror in that, in the food, in the bell, you know? And So it was almost a coincidence. We were shooting during lunch break, all these little stills without Colin. In a movie like this, you want to get Colin,
Right.
and shoot him. And when he goes to lunch, we shoot like other stuff. And I knew I wanted 3 sort of still lifes that tell a story about him. And so with 3 little shots, we told the story that he's a drinker, he's a smoker, he eats too much, and he doesn't pay his bill. Yeah. So and that was basically silent shots, and so they found their way into the film.
I love those shots. I also love the fact that you use this element of you'll do like almost like a medium close-up of the back of someone's head with everything else kind of out of focus, soft focus around them, and or you do an extreme close-up of their face, especially the one where there's like those tiny beads of sweat on Colin's face. Why do you do those kind of shots? I'm obsessed with the way you shoot, so I'm just like,
thank you.
Yeah, I look at the little nuances of those types of things and just want to get inside your head to see why.
Thanks for noticing them.
Yeah.
Well, I plan the movie because I constantly wonder what is going on in Lord Doyle's and Colin's character's head. And I want you to understand what's going in his head, and I want you to feel what he's feeling. And I have the feeling that when you shoot people from behind, you watch them think. You know, you're sort of in their brain. Oh. You know, and then you also withhold the answer. You sort of, it's almost like a question. What's he doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And then you cut around at the right time to, let's say, this, to the close-up from up front. And there's the answer. You kind of see it in their eyes, you know, the decision. Okay, I'm going to go get a shower, go get something to eat, and I'm going to start my day. That decision, but before that, he said, oh, maybe I should stay in bed, is from behind, you know, so questions and answers, and withholding the answer for as long as possible to keep you guessing, to keep you engaged. That's why I do these shots from behind. And I love sweat because it makes a film very physical.
Ooh, okay. Never heard that before. I love that so much. My last question that I want to get an answer to, I love how you, I'm Buddhist, so I love how you introduced the Buddhist Asian notion of the hungry ghost, right? And it adds a little bit of a tiny supernatural element to the whole story. When you left Macau, did you have some type of supernatural element or supernatural not existence, but some type of supernatural theme that you became obsessed with after you finished this film?
Well, yes, the film really shaped us, and we learned from our Chinese colleagues, you know, like more than half the crew was Chinese. And there are these things like hungry ghosts and Buddhist beliefs about the afterlife and so forth are in the movie. And when we come from the West, we go like, wow, I don't quite know how to deal with it. So I really wanted to dive in and ask them a lot of questions. For example, the burning of things, of money, of paper money or paper houses or paper phones to donate, to give to your ancestors or the loved ones in the afterlife is a real thing. People really believe in it. And when you film something like that, you have to believe in it too. So I had many conversations with my Chinese colleagues to understand how they got to believe in it, how they were thinking about it. Because if I don't believe it, you're not going to believe it as an audience. You know, you're just going to go, that's a fluke or a hoax. Or, you know, I want you to believe it. And the wonderful thing about movie making is we can present a reality, and if you present it right, the audience just accepts it. Yeah? And it might not be real life, but we accept it because we get to escape in it.
I accept any reality that you give me because you're freaking brilliant. I can't say it enough. I just want to thank you so much for giving me time to speak to you. This meant everything to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
I'm so excited about this movie. So excited. But what I'm really excited about is there was a line where you say when you guys are together, and you say it's not too late for you, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have a moment, each of you, when you were younger, that you wish you had said to yourself then, it's never too late for you?
I mean, I suppose the big one for me, I hate to even bring it up, it's just such an obvious one, but is sobriety, is knocking certain things on the head nearly 20 years ago, and making really dramatic changes in my life, you know, and that took a bit of never too late, because We often consign ourselves, it was easy for me to consign myself to a foregone conclusion, to the way I've been living is the way I've been living, the way I am is the way I am. And we often say to our friends or people that are offering up the chance maybe to look at changing certain things, we often say, that's just the way I am. If we want people to back off, get away, that's just the way I am, that's me.
Right.
But me is an ever-changing thing, and it's ever-changing as a result of the environment and what we're going through in our lives, and how we can have access to looking back at the past, but doing it with a deft touch and with a kindness and a sense of compassion, rather than judgment and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that would be, yeah.
Are you breathing?
I get worked.
He's so good at making long sentences.
I get worked up from time to time.
Follow.
I think about my parents a lot. I think about my aging parents a lot. As you know, they get older, and I now have young kids. So this whole lineage of like understanding them as people, but understanding myself in relationship to who they are, and then now passing kind of the torch, but also the traumas down to them. Understanding that having kind of a departure from your parents is kind of liberating. Not in they live in New Jersey, 1 hour away from me, so there's
And
no
does it allow
departure.
you to love them more and in a different way?
Yeah. So like always working on that relationship with your parents, as you know, in like kind of revisiting your childhood, shaping who you are.
Yeah.
I feel like that work is like, it's never too late for you to understand that, reconcile that, like, and to build that relationship stronger, have more compassion and love for them.
That's what I meant by compassion as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
For parents and for
Yeah,
people that are in
yeah,
your life rather
yeah.
than...
I think that's a continuous kind of lifelong journey, but yeah, never too late.
I love that. I also love, I'm Buddhist, so I also love that the analogy of the hungry ghost was included in
The
this
Raka,
film, right?
yeah.
And it's added like a little bit of a supernatural element to the film, so to speak. So I'm wondering for you guys, after you finished shooting in Macau, did you come away from it having any curiosity about other types of supernatural elements or supernatural superstitions?
I find the little bit I understand or know of Buddhism to be really beautiful and really calming. And talk about compassion, it seems to be, I don't even know, is it considered a religion? Or is there a spiritual way of being? I'm not even certain, but
It's considered a spiritual way of being and living.
it's very beautiful and very
Yeah.
compassionate, and the rituals around it, and even the lighting, even something as basic as the lighting of incense and bowing before the
Yeah,
temple.
we had
and
a
all.
ceremony
It's very,
together.
very calming,
Yeah.
very grounding. Yeah, we did.
We did praying
with our
for
crew,
the
'cause
safety of our crew
would
and-
would lean into every day, would do a certain
Yeah.
little ritual that took 30, 60 seconds, and they blessed us with allowing us to be a part of it as well, which is
Did
just
they
very,
chant?
very touching.
No,
Not
but it's
on
just like
set.
incense, and you burn,
Yeah.
and you
Oh,
bow,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
you put it down.
In the different
just
directions.
To show,
North,
Okay.
south, east,
Respect,
and west,
yeah.
going in
Okay.
4 directions and
Yeah.
bow. Yeah, it was beautiful.
just respect the space, and,
Yeah.
and you know, and we were shooting at a temple.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
That's beautiful. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I just wanted to thank you guys for both giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. It's
Thanks,
really
Carla.
been my
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Always,
much.
love.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
pleasure.
I love them so much, and I really love this movie. I know I'm in the minority about it, but I really love it, and probably the reason I gravitate toward it so strongly is because I'm Buddhist, and I noticed and recognize Buddhist elements laden throughout the film. So thank you, Edward Berger, Colin Farrell, and Fala Chen for giving me your time today. I just want to reiterate, you guys, these are the films that I have been, I always do this. Okay, here we go. These are the films that I was talking about. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Please check that out. Check out, going back up, so sorry, it's moving a little slow. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Both of these films were, well, I think If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You came out last week on the 10th, and Bruce Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere comes out this week, I think around the 24th or 29th. My Christmas movie is coming to OWN, so check your local listings for that. And of course, Ballad of a Small Player is in theaters right now, but it will hit Netflix on October 29th. Let's talk a little bit about the AFI Fest before I go. So the AFI Fest, like I said, happens in LA every year. It's a really big thing, and I enjoy going to it myself, to tell you the truth. It's my favorite thing to attend, and I pick a lot of films. A lot of the films that are playing there I've talked about, like Hamnet. I reviewed Hamnet. That will be at the AFI Fest, and a bunch of other things. I have my list, and now I can't. Oh, here we go. I was like, where's my list? Okay, so it's going to open up with Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere on the 22nd. They're also going to be showing a film with Brendan Fraser called Rental Family, Selena y Los Dinos documentary. George Clooney is going to hit on the 23rd with his film, Jay Kelly, a film that I saw at the Telluride Film Festival, which is going into the international race, La Grazia. That is going to be playing along with Nuremberg, which is Rami Malek's new film, and is this thing on Bradley Cooper's new film. There's a film I talked about, you guys, from TIFF called Left-Handed Girl. That's going to be playing. Dead Man's Wire is going to be playing. The Coral, a bunch of stuff. So H is Hawk and Song Sung Blue, the Neil Diamond picture. So I tell you what, go to afifest.com and you can see the full schedule there. I think some of the films they allow you to see digitally. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that, but it's afifest.com. All right, when I come back next week, baby, we gonna have a whole slate from Apple TV. I've already told you what it is, so you can be prepared for it. We're gonna talk about Stitchhead. I have interviews from the cast and creatives of that, and I'm also going to have the director and the star of Hedda, which stars Tessa Thompson and is directed by Nia DaCosta. That's my time, y'all. I got a meeting that I am 7 minutes late for, but thank you so much for tuning in, whether you did it in real time or after the fact. I love you so much for supporting me. I know Brandon gave me a comment, so let me just address that. His birthday is 2 weeks away on the 30th of this month, and he can't wait for Zootopia 2 next month. All right, y'all, that is it for your girl. Thank you. Love, peace, and hair grease, and deuces, baby. Until the next time. Bye.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and